Okay, lowlives, for today's episode, we're diving back into the Fallout universe.
Spoiler alert, we covering seasons 1 and 2 in this video, so if you're not caught up, you should probably piss off.
Yeah, this time we're focusing on the chicken fucker character, played by John Daly.
Yo, pretty sure his official character name is Snake Oil Salesman.
Nah, that's not how it works. He is chicken fucker.
Yeah, it's just like that old Irish joke about the man and the sheep. Like it or not, that name gonna stick.
You're referring to me, aren't you?
Bro, I didn't even...
You sneaky little prick.
Bovon, you fixing to meet the sharpest part of my...
I would never fuck a sheep, you retrograde heathen.
Okay, I guess we'll call that a win.
Everybody knows they'll only break your heart.
Jesus, elephant walking Christ. Yeah, so just as we discussed in our last episode, we here at the channel claim that many of the Fallout show's greatest successes stem from its side characters.
This could all be yours!
Well, Barry, one of the things I learned from watching Robert Zemeckis movies is the importance of character intros that are memorable and kinetic.
Yes, Marco, and I'm sure you sickos will agree that Chicken Fucker's intro is nothing if not memorable.
I'm gonna throttle your fucking ass!
Yeah, so at first, we and Maximus just assume that Big Chicken is an innocent victim of wasteland-style assault.
Maximus intervenes only to find out there's a twist.
The guy was fucking my chickens.
Here we go again. You fucking Puritans are forever clutching at your pearls.
Barry, has anybody scoured the Epstein files to see if Bovon's in there?
Yeah, I looked into it, Fly. He's not in the files, but he has been banned from just about every major pet store in the country. Anyway, kiddos, this little introductory scene works fairly well if you have a twisted sense of humor. But it also carries a secondary function, insofar as it highlights the challenge of beating out any meaningful concept of justice within a lawless, highly fragmented wasteland where the rich and powerful are never made to answer for even their most egregious transgressions.
Much like today.
Much like today.
Much like today.
Milk marmalade.
Yes, much like today.
Well, I was gonna say that, Barry, before you and your big-ass gut cut me off. Yeah, in this scene, Maximus is basically taking up the role.
He's playing the metaphorical role of a white-headed Old West sheriff.
Let me cook, Barry, you frumpy-faced walrus-looking motherfucker. The point is, Maximilian now understands that by interfering with a wasteland-style beating, he may have actually made the world an even worse place.
Yeah, especially for the local livestock.
Balderdash, you goddamn prudes.
Anyway, another thing we like about old John Daly's performance is how he instills the character with all the markings of a profoundly untalented old-world stage actor.
Toodles and anon.
Well, his character does offer a pretty great collision of high and low. You know, his delivery is super stilted, yet he looks like something that squirmed out of our toilet.
Now, the next time we encounter this guy is in Philly, where he's crying his wares like a good old-fashioned touring charlatan.
Serums to heal your feet.
Which almost kind of links him back to Walton Goggins in an indirect 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of way.
Drink this tasty coconut silkiness every morning, and that's it. Done.
And as the season progresses, we get a pretty clear sense of the wasteland's potential to inspire despair in those who occupy it. The next time we meet him, old chicken fucker's looking to renovate the back of his flea-ridden skull. But then he hears opportunity a-knocking.
Again, John Daly dials an amazing level of theatricality into his performance.
I think John Daly's eyes might be even more bug-like than yours, Barry.
Yeah, look, you don't get to appear in Fallout unless you got outsized, freaky-looking eyes. I mentioned that last time when one of you asswipes asked about Ella Purnell. Anyway, once again, this scene demonstrates the inevitable cascade of consequences that results from making a decision of any kind in the wasteland.
Yeah, Thaddeus gets to heal his gnarly ass stank foot.
And Chicken Fucker gets to take possession of a highly valuable fusion core.
But neither of them realize there are going to be downstream effects.
Which brings us to season 2, you chuds. And let me just say right now.
And break!
Time to get paid!
Okay, you witless moneybags. Today's installment of Sloppity Slop is endorsed by our good friends at Smegman's. Listen up, gentlemen. Are you tired of blowing the old dynamite too quickly? Aren't you plumb sick of pulling the old...
Oh, that's never happened to me before.
routine? We've seen the demographics, folks.
Pathetic!
We know our viewers need a little help under the sheets. Hey, asshole! Why keep making apologies when you can be dong strong with dong along?
Dong along!
Over in the darkest recesses of Arkansas, Smegman's top scientists have been hard at work, concocting a special little recipe to make sure that you don't spill your gooey gumbo too early. No more early busting, my brothers in Christ!
No buster!
You coming in clutch, Bovon. Finally, a product that we can actually get behind. How many minutes will it add to my stamina?
Try not to think in terms of minutes, Marco. Dong along is the biological equivalent of J.B. Weld. You won't be busting for weeks, big fella.
What you mean weeks?
That sounds fucking painful, Bovon.
Bro, is this some kind of Gwyneth Paltrow-esque,
Who in the fuck wants to spend weeks trying to...
Nah, shut up, chuds! Get yours today from your nearest truck stop or titty bar, you wretched cretins.
Dong along!
Get them before all the lawsuits force them to nerf the recipe.
Yeah, just like what happened to Four Loco.
Oh, god damn it, Bovo. Okay, the promo code is John Jones.
Game on!
Okay, so when we meet Fallout's version of Colonel Sanders for Season 2, he's en route to Las Vegas with a shiny new fusion core. And even this little montage is wildly enjoyable.
Well, Barry, didn't you and your family-sized gut drift through Las Vegas recently?
Well, yes, but only because Bovon slipped me a Mickey.
You said you wanted to learn more about the wasteland, Barry.
And Las Vegas is indeed a wasteland. Gordon Ramsay's stupid pig face is plastered all over the place. Everything's loud and bright and expensive, and the streets are filled with hot sex workers who want to take what little money you got.
No one cares, Barry. Yeah, so it turns out Chicken Licker has been carrying around a fusion core because he's robosexual and he wants to power up his electronic lover.
Yeah, that's Fisto. He's part of the video game lore, but you motherfuckers are so old and washed you don't even know about it.
Fisto? That's way too on the nose, Barry. Would you name your goddamn dog Fido?
Oh, Jesus, Bovon.
At least make it something intriguing, like Dr. Knuckle Twister or Mr. Saucy Fingers. When I get ready to fuck a robot, Barry, I want to know that there's going to be some passion, some mystery. Have we forgotten that the brain is a sex organ, too?
Okay. Yeah, tone it down there, Jackie Treehorn.
Where's the poetry? What have we become?
Anyway, before Chicken Fucker can drop his rancid pants, Hank McClane shows up to commit a bit of the old high sticking.
Yeah, and Chicken Fucker wakes up to learn that he's the victim of Hank's bizarre mind control experiment.
But we also learn something else that's interesting about the Sultan of Poultry.
I have crippling social anxiety.
No, not that. Get it right, Ellis.
How would you like to forget everything?
Please, yes.
Seems strange, Barry, that this man is so eager to pave over his entire sense of self.
Yeah, old boy's going for the ego death. Shania, is this like what happened to you when you licked them toads with Joe Rogan and his little dumbass pothead friends?
Yeah, except it didn't last all that long, and Chicken Fucker would have been way better company.
Well, yeah, but Chicken Tosser has only known the wasteland, so even his most triumphant moments are tarnished with abject horror.
Hey, little son of a bitch. What do you call the place where we live? This apartment smells like an elephant's nutsack. We gotta beg, borrow, and steal just to survive. Our Timu computers bombard us with constant radiation. And half the year, our tap water is so polluted you can light it on fire.
Ah, touche, Barry. You can't seem to drop any weight, but at least you're dropping some facts.
Yeah, but why does Birdman survive the treatment? For most of season 2, we've been seeing folks' heads bust open like a tomato can when they get fitted with the chip.
Maybe it's because Chick-fil-A here consents to the procedure. You know? He's not trying to fight it or anything.
Nah, see, I think it's all spelled out clearly in episode 5. The whole time Mr. Chicken Finger is strolling along the Mojave, you can hear Luck Be a Lady playing.
Luck be a lady tonight.
And then we get this shot, which is not very goddamn subtle, you brainless hicks.
So he survives on behalf of sheer luck?
No, chances are you're all probably half right, you shitasses. It's true that the show seems to imply that luck plays a factor in Chicken Licker's survival. Yeah, but that wouldn't explain why later on Hank is also able to successfully install mind control on a bunch of the great Khans and members of the Legion. Most likely, Hank has made some decent mods to his chip, and he's also discovered that highly suggestible or otherwise highly traumatized minds are more receptive to the treatment. At any rate, it's at this point that our beloved Pollo Cabron makes his dazzling transformation into a...
He looks like he drives the limo for that apeshit crazy Heaven's Gate crowd.
Man, he looks like his favorite band is Everclear.
Bro, he looks like he wants to sell you a Bible and then holler you out. Maybe use your vacant husk as a slippity slide.
Well, he's still hotter than Barry.
Piss off. Okay, let's throw it over to Al. Al, tell us about Chicken Man's significance as a wastelander.
If one were to look upon the chicken fucker in Fallout, one might be tempted to ask, what sort of man is this? But that, you see, is already the wrong question. For he is not so much an isolated subject as an embodiment of the wasteland itself, a transitive verb, as it were. He appears as a trickster, yes, but not the cunning Loki with some devious and magisterial plan tucked behind his wet, toothy grin. He is rather the trickster who has discovered that in this world there is no singular static game board to rig. In the wasteland, identity is provisional, morality is negotiable, and sincerity is a tragic hindrance. The chicken fucker understands this on an unconscious level. He wheedles, he wiggles, he ballyhoos and blusters. But it's not necessarily because he's desperate. Like Miles Davis, Chicken Fucker understands the power of improvisation. He rides the waveforms of chaos to arrive at novel forms of amusement and debauchery. He knows in his bones that the self is but a cheeky facade, a thin cheesecloth to insulate us from the howling void of oblivion. And this is precisely why he can so cheerfully offer himself up to Hank McClane's mind control device. To cling to personal agency would be, from Chicken Fucker's perspective, a kind of faux pas, an attachment to a fiction that does not serve his fundamental interests. Put differently, if the ego is yet another burdensome convention, should it not be jettisoned along with all the other wasteland detritus? One role ends, another begins. The jazz of existence lopes onward. Chicken Fucker's puzzling sexual appetites follow a similar rhythm, you see. Desire, stripped of social pretense, becomes exploratory rather than moralistic. Is he merely a sexual peccant, or is his penchant for non-human partners a survival strategy? Perhaps human attachments would be either too compromising or too pedestrian for his liking. In this capacity, the Chicken Fucker is the wasteland. He is fluid, shameless, adaptive, and quietly enlightened in the art of profound humility as retrogression and disorder conquer more and more ground. Okay, freeloaders, that's all you get from yours truly. Let's throw it back to Barry so we can hear him complain about the surging cost of pork gravy or whatever.
transcendental wannabe asswipe. Okay, gang, let us know what you thought about Season 2 of Fallout. I mean, we don't actually care.
Nah, not really.
But Marco says it helps the polyrhythms.
It's algorithm, you sloppy jelly-basted glob of pork butter.
Now, we aren't totally sure what we're gonna cover next, but we'll probably make one more Fallout video that focuses either on the wasteland or on some of the vaulties.
Bro, Chet is underrated.
Yeah, but so is Big Reg.
Y'all chuds know Betty's played by that lady from the Deadpool movies, right?
Hey, everybody shut up. Okay, we'll see you next time, asswipes. Yeah, Bovon's gonna tell us about the time he got his ashes hauled by Lana Turner and Rock Hudson in Marion Davies' heated pool. It's gonna be revolting.
Saw that gap again today while you were begging me to stay.
A nickel-plated hammer, spit 45 caliber grammar.
Her milk glows in the black light.
Dada, Dayadvam, Damyata, Shanti Shanti Shanti.